Hello everyone, happy Tuesday. It's Carissa Wiley here for Pinkfresh Studio, and I'm so excited to be here with you. We are going to have a great time. Hopefully all of my sound is working this week. I did remember to turn on my microphone this time, and it looks like everything's going well so far. I have Kinnery here with me in the chat, and I appreciate her being here. We are going to create with we're going to mix some things up. We're going to do a little watercolor today, a little stenciling. So we're just mixing and matching a bunch of products, both older and newer, and we're going to have a good time. If you have not already subscribed here to the Pinkfresh Studio YouTube channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. You want to do that because every time we go live, every time we post a pre-recorded video, you're going to get a notification, and that keeps you from missing out on all the great things that we teach you here, as well as all the giveaways, because you know that when we go live, we have 2 giveaways for you, and today is no exception. So for those of you who are watching me here live and chatting along in the comments, we're going to give away 2 $50 Pinkfresh Studio digital gift card codes to 2 of you. And the way that you enter is you just chat along, you answer each other's questions. You can share this in a Facebook group or a text or an email. You can come back here and let us know that you shared it, and that counts as an entry as well. And so that's what you do. You just engage with us. You can ask me a question. If I miss those questions, Kinnery is there to help answer those questions. And also, you guys can answer each other's questions, which I think is so wonderful. Now, we have not forgotten those of you who are watching on the replay. We love you too, and we love that you spend your time here. And so we have 2 more $50 digital gift card codes for those of you watching on replay. All you're gonna do is leave us a comment, and what I want you to tell us today is which of the 3 watercolor colorways, because there are brand new Pinkfresh Studio watercolors that are available now. They're 20% off. They're only available at pinkfreshstudio.com. But I want you to let me know in the comments which of the 3 colorways is your favorite. And we will look at those comments in about a week's time and pick a winner. All of that information will be in the YouTube description below. Also, the last thing that I want to let you know is that if you have not already, we would love for you to give this video a thumbs up. That helps us on the replay. It helps share this video. It helps YouTube to share this video with more crafty people like us and grow our community, because we love new friends here. So I think that is about all. Yes, I see Kinnery saying our watercolors are not available anywhere else. They are only available at pinkfreshstudio.com, and once they sell out, they are gone. So if you want to grab these, I would recommend grabbing them right away. Okay, let's go down to the desktop, because I have a few things to do today, and I want to make sure that we get them done. We're going to be doing some watercoloring. I am using the Jewel Tones watercolors for today's video. We're going to be creating a simple watercolor background. We're going to be dipping our toes gently into the area of watercolor if you've never done it before. Hopefully, I am not an expert by any means, but hopefully this will give you a little confidence to try this out, because it doesn't have to be complicated. And I love it when things are not complicated. We also have the Pinkfresh Studio Premium Watercolor Paper. This is completely plant-based. It's made in Germany. It's a beautiful watercolor paper. And for those of you who may not be into watercolor, you might want to pick this up anyway, because it makes beautiful paper. It's like a cottony paper that works really well for better press as well. So you want to make sure that you try this out for your better press techniques, because it gives you that really cushy cottony paper to work with. Now, so we're going to create a watercolor background. We're going to use this, but we're also going to be using the Ribbon Splendor, which is a die and stencil combo, which creates this beautiful ribbon design. And we're going to combine it with Evergreen Sparkle, which is from the holiday release. And I thought, you know me, I love me a Christmas card or a holiday card. And so I thought today we would take this and make a simple holiday card with a beautiful watercolor background and create a holiday card. Of course, this could be for any time of the year. Question, is the paper hot pressed or cold pressed? It is cold pressed. So it is a cold pressed watercolor paper, which gives it a little more texture. It's 140 pounds and there are 15 sheets of 9 by 12. Are the new ink pads going to be at the Pinkfresh store only? I do not believe so, but I'm gonna let Kinnery answer that for sure, Pam. But I do not believe so. I believe those will be, the watercolors are the only ones that are just available at pinkfreshstudio.com. Laura wants to know if the watercolor cardstock will be around for a while or if that is going to be a limited time only. And again, I think I'm gonna let Kinnery take that one. I suspect it may be around for a while, but I'm not real sure. Yes, it is nice paper. So I have a piece of it just trimmed down. I have a cutting board here, okay? Could be a clipboard. It could be just a hard surface. I'm just gonna do my best to avoid as much warping as possible. And I'm gonna tape this down as I create my watercolor background. And the reason I'm doing the watercolor background first is because I wanna give it some time to dry before we have to die cut it. And so while this is drying, it's gonna be a very simple watercolor background, I promise. We can all do this. No expertise needed. But while this dries, then we can do our stenciling with our Ribbon Splendor stencil and do our die cutting. And hopefully we can avoid, we will have to use the heat tool on this just a bit because we're gonna die cut it with the Evergreen Sparkle cover plate die, but hopefully we won't have to use it too much. Now I'm gonna be using the jewel tones today because I wanted to create a really beautiful green background to do with this. And I'm gonna actually mix a couple of colors. So I am grabbing the Spanish moss and the evergreen. Now, evergreen is one of those colors that has a lot of blue in it. It's a green that has a lot of blue in it. And I want to push it a little more to the green side. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to use a green color that has a little more yellow in it because we know that yellow and blue make green. We learned that from a Ziploc commercial years ago. Okay, I have a couple other things. I have a couple of watercolor brushes for this technique. It is not super important that you have a special brush or anything like that. In fact, I just picked this one because it's nice and big and I can cover a lot of area. Kinnery did say that Pinkfresh has a lot of paper and watercolors in stock, but once they're sold out, they will be gone forever. Okay, I have a watercolor palette here. This is a cheapie. It's probably some sort of plastic. You could use even like a laminated piece of paper or some slick surface. You don't have to have like super special tools, especially to do what we're doing today. Now, if your watercolors have been sitting for a while, you may want to gently shake them to get all of like the colors moving again. And, oh, hold on. My son is trying to call and he is one of my favorites so in my phone. So it rings through even though I have it on Do Not Disturb. So anyway, we're going to start with a drop of evergreen. Actually, let's do 3 drops. So 1, 2, 3. This comes in a bottle that's similar to the re-inker. So it has that little eyedropper top. It's a flexible bottle that you squeeze. And because these are concentrated colors, you don't need a ton of them. We may add some, I don't know. But in addition to the evergreen, I'm also going to add the Spanish moss, which I'm going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of those drops. It's just like a 3 to 1 to 2 ratio. I don't know. Let's not do fractions today. Okay. Color theory. Oh dear, glazed eyes. Don't worry. That's all we're doing for color theory. Yellow and blue make green. You can totally do this. Now I'm going to dampen my brush and I'm going to just make sure that it's damp And I am actually, let's go ahead and just use my clean water. It's under my face. Let's move that there. We're going to use my clean water to add some water all over this watercolor cardstock. Okay, so a good amount, making our cardstock wet, basically. So we're doing a wet on wet technique. I'm not going to talk about technique too much because I just want to keep this simple and just let you know that if you want to dip your toes into watercolor, you can totally do it without being a professional. Okay, so my watercolor cardstock is now wet. Now I'm going to take this and I am going to come in to the watercolor that I've mixed together. And with just a damp brush, I am kind of swirling those two colors together. Now, any of this that dries in the palette, the water will kind of evaporate out of it, but the pigment will stay. So if it dries on my palette, I can always go back with a damp brush and reactivate it to use. Highly concentrated, yes. So you can see there's a lot of pigment on my brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that damp brush with the color and I'm going to start adding it to my cardstock. I'm just pouncing some color around, and you can see because my cardstock is wet, this is going to automatically just start moving the color for me. Now, what I am going for is not anything perfect. I'm not going for anything that stays in the lines or follows any rules. I am going for a variated background that's green. That's all I want. And so I'm just going to use my damp brush to kind of go all over the cardstock with this. And then you can see it's kind of stopping where the cardstock is not wet anymore. This is larger than what I need, so that's totally fine. Okay, so as I mentioned, not anything perfect or wonderful, but watercolor on its own has a magic to it that really helps it to kind of just give a really cool artistic look. Now I'm going to drop another drop or two of the Evergreen in here, and we're going to bring that in straight so that we can kind of variegate the color a little bit more. Now you're going to see, do you see how blue that looks? Now the other one didn't look blue, the first layer, because we added the Spanish moss to it. So it took out some of the blue, but we want some variation in here. So we're just going to take the straight Evergreen and we're going to add it just to some areas, let it pounce around, let it move around, and then just kind of let it mix and meld with the color that's already there. Okay, so just kind of layering it really easy. And just kind of, once we get some of this color on there and down, I'm probably just going to let it dry. And we're going to see what happens. We may come in and add some more layers of color here in just a bit, but we're just going to set it aside. Is that tray Pinkfresh as well? No, it's just a cheapy watercolor palette, but you don't have to have even a watercolor palette. You can just use like laminated cardstock or a slick surface, some stamp packaging with some cardstock in it. You don't have to. And I would say that if you're if you're beginning with watercolor, I'm just kind of letting the color move around a little bit on here. If you're beginning with watercolor, you don't have to go out and buy all the things. You don't have to have the top quality things. If you have a good watercolor and a good watercolor cardstock, you're gonna do just fine with that. And you're getting those with the Pinkfresh Studio watercolors and with the cardstock. Now you can see I didn't tape this down very well because it's curling up, but that's okay. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to put it to the side and we're just going to see what happens when it dries. Okay. Again, super simple watercolor background, easily attainable. If you want to do two colors that complement each other, like a pink and a purple, really, really beautiful. A ceramic plate. Yes, that works great. The other thing that works great is like a plastic plate or a glass plate that you don't use anymore. I don't know that I would mix colors on it that I'm going to eat off of it in the future, but you know, that is totally, yeah, so you don't have to go out and spend a bunch of money on watercolor stuff to get started. You need some watercolors, you need some cardstock, you need a couple of brushes. You can get by with that and you don't have to have a lot. You know what I'm saying? Try it out. See if you like it first. and then move on from there. Now, I have the Ribbon Splendor stencil set, and I have stencil 1, 2, and 3, and I'm just kind of looking over at my packaging to remind me which colors are light, medium, dark. You could, of course, do this in any way that you want. But I'm going to start with stencil 1, and I'm going to start with my lightest color. Now, we're going to make red bows because we are all about a holiday card on this particular card. And I'm trying to figure out, what do I want to do? Let's just do it in the corner of the Misty because I feel like that makes it so easy. I'm going to put my cardstock in the corner, in the lower right-hand corner of my Misty, and just place it in there. And then I am going to take stencil 1 and place it in that same lower corner. Now, if you use your Misty the other way, it's fine. Just put it in a corner and make sure that you put everything in that same corner every time you do it. That's the way to make this work. It is one of the quickest and easiest ways to line up stencils when you have multiples. And for today, I'm going to be using passion fruit, Berrylicious, and candy apple because we want some really beautiful red bows. All right, so let me grab my blending brush, and we're going to start with passion fruit on stencil number 1, which is our lightest of the reds that we're using today. And I'm using a large blending brush because I can cover a large area in a short amount of time. And because we're doing a few different things today, I want to make sure that, we have time for everything. So I'm going to start with passion fruit first and blend it on to stencil number 1. Now, if you want to concentrate with doing lights and darks, you can. I'll probably do that on the darker colors, but we're going to start with passion fruit and just blend, okay? Now, I've seen some really, really beautiful examples using this in all different colors, but when I saw it, if you've been on Pinterest like me looking at Christmas decor, because I love Christmas decor, you've seen that bows are all the rage for Christmas decor. And so I thought it would be fun to show you how something that you can use all year round can actually be a holiday product too. So if you look at your products in new and different ways. Okay, so we're gonna wipe that down. That's stencil 1. And then we're gonna move to stencil number 2, which is a large area. Now on this, you'll notice that there are the triangles that help you line up the dies. You want to make sure that you're inking those. Those will carry over on every single stencil that you have. And that helps you not only line up the stencils, but when we go to line up the coordinating die, we have these triangle windows that help us line it up over the stenciling that we've done. So I love this concept. Pinkfresh Studio has several of these die and stencil sets available in various different kinds of patterns, florals and leaves and such like that. Even one of my favorite of the holiday products from this year is called Timeless Tidings, and it has like that really, really cool design of the stencil die combo, but it has like the holly leaves and the ornaments, and I love it so much. Okay, so stencil number 2, we're going with Berrylicious, and we're getting a good red bow going here. There's areas where it's lighter and darker. I'm adding more ink in some areas than others, but I'm just putting some red down. Now, red is tricky. It loves to stain, but even if you have stains on your stencils, they will still work, I promise. They tend to clean off of the stencils pretty well. You might have a little pink hue on them, but they love to stick to the photopolymer, and don't worry, you haven't ruined your product. It is what it is, Okay, so there is stencil number 2, and we have those beautiful red bows coming together. Now, stencil number 3, we're going to place in that lower right-hand corner again. You can see our triangles are automatically lining up. And I am going to switch to a 1/2 inch blending brush because I want a little more control over lights and darks. So I have Candy Apple here, and I'm gonna do some really dark areas towards the centers of these bows and kind of blend it out. So you can see I'm concentrating the ink there in those stencil openings, and then I'll blend that out slightly. And if you wanted to add even more depth to this red, you can use something like an espresso ink and a very light hand and add a little bit of that brown to the center of these bows, and that would give you even more depth on your red ink blending. Which red color? They're all red. I started with passion fruit. I moved to Berrylicious, and then I went to, I'm on Candy Apple right now. So they're all like a red family. The lightest in this is the Coral Reef. The lightest in this color family is the Coral Reef. So it's the same family of inks that Coral Reef, one of our favorites, is in. And so I'm just going up the scale in this color family as I go darker and darker with my blending. Love the color of the bow. You just wait. So glad I found your video. How can I get notified of upcoming videos? That's easy, One Daisy. All you have to do is subscribe to this channel, and next to that subscribe button, you'll see a little bell that you click on. When you click on that bell, it will send you notifications every time we go live and every time we post a video. So that's easy to do to get notified. You can also make sure that you're signed up for the Pinkfresh Studio newsletter, and we send out newsletters before we go live and reminders, and you'll get information on sales and things like that. So that's another way to get notified about different things happening at Pinkfresh Studio. So that is Candy Apple. There's a little spot there where I need to blend in the other direction. If you look at your blending and you ever have like a white area, even though you know you went over it, try blending in the opposite direction. And that usually brings the bristles of that brush into that place where you're missing a little bit of ink and kind of fills in that white area. So make sure you're going kind of in both directions. Now this could be beautiful also with some like paste, some shimmer, something like that. So you could totally do that. But today we're just sticking with some gorgeous red bows. Look at that. All of the work was done with the inks and the stencils. Super easy. I don't have to be an expert to do this. I can just blend away, and it's so easy. All right, just subscribed. Awesome. Thank you, Maria. We're so glad you subscribed. We're glad you're here, all of you. The triangles are so helpful. Yes, and we will use these triangles, although we didn't use them to line up our stencils in this case because we were using the corner of our Misty to help us do that. We will use the triangles to help us line up our I'm just moving my watercolor cardstock a little because all of that ink was kind of, or the watercolor was kind of settling to one side. So I'm going to just move it just a little bit and move some of that color back in. And the reason it's doing that is because I didn't tape it down very good at the top. And so it's got a nice bow in it where it's like, or like a bubble where it's kind of moving everything to the sides. But look at how that's drying. It's looking great. It's going to look really good with our red bows. So I'm gonna just show you how that's drying back. And then we are going to grab the coordinating Ribbon Splendor die set. Okay, with that green perfection. Thank you, Kennery. I always like it when Kennery likes what I do because she's kind of an important person around Pinkfresh Studio, you know? All right, so now all I have to do, I'm gonna show you this without my magnetic mat, but you're gonna take your die and you're gonna look down through it, and there are 3 triangle openings, okay? So you have 1, 2, 3. There's 1 at the top and there are 2 at the bottom. And you wanna line up those triangle openings with the triangle blending that you've done earlier. So you wanna make sure, do you see how this triangle is not all the way filled with color? That's because I'm off. So I want to make sure that all of the triangles are completely filled with color. all right? When I'm looking through those triangle windows, it should all be filled with color. Then, just to make sure, because I don't trust myself to transfer this, quite honestly, I'm gonna look down through, I'm gonna put my head in the shot for just a second. I'm gonna make sure we're all good. And then I'm going to hold this in place with a little bit of repositionable craft tape. I just shifted that when I put the tape down. So I'm gonna take a moment, I'm gonna resettle it, get it where I want it, make sure everything's covered, and then tape it down. Now there's quite a bit of ink on this stenciled area. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that my tape is not kind of going over the stenciled area, because that cardstock could have a little moisture in it, which would then make the tape more likely to rip my cardstock, especially after it goes through the die cut machine, where there's going to be a lot of pressure pushing that down. So just to make sure that I'm not ripping my bows when I pull this all up, I'm gonna make sure that the tape is not overlapping inked areas. I also like to do this when I'm taping over stencil, because when you tape over, not stencils, when you tape over foiled areas, because when you tape over foiled areas, that tape can remove some of the foiling that you've done. So I know, isn't she smart, Holly? I love this. The bow die for scrapbooking too. This would be great for a lot of things. It would be great for a shaker card. I'm not going to do that today, but it would be great for a shaker card. And also it would be great for like a window card, a frame around a photo, so many things. Now, one thing I want to point out to you is that when Pinkfresh Studio designs these stencil die combos, they design it with a little extra inking around it. And what the extra inking does is it allows you that if you're off just a little, you're still going to have the edge to edge color on all of your bows. And so now we have this beautiful bow design, which we're going to put over our green background. It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to look like velvet. I wish I would not have moved that ink around, because I'm going to show you what's happening to it. And we're probably going to go to it and add maybe another layer or two. Now, if you can, when you are watercoloring, I think it's a great idea to let it dry on its own. And I should have just left it. And that is one of my biggest downfalls when it comes to watercolor, is I am impatient. And so now I'm getting kind of like this going in. It's okay. It's not going to be a big deal. But what I am going to do, and it's kind of coming up on the edges here. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to wipe off some of the water, and it's underneath my tape. That's okay. Again, we're just going for easy breezy watercolor. Simple, right? I'm going to tape that down. I'm going to grab my brush. I'm going to grab my palette, and I'm going to grab some more watercolor. I'm just going to do a couple drops here. This is the Evergreen again. I'm not using any new colors. And I'm going to drop some Spanish moss in it. Love, love, love the no white margins. Isn't it genius? I love it. It is so great. Okay. Now, because this is all kind of, it's not dry, but it's dry, you know, we're going to be able to layer some watercolor on top. Just need a little bit of water in this to make it move a little bit better. But we're just going to be able to layer some more color on top and kind of make this a little more dimensional. So that's all we're doing, just adding a little more watercolor on top. Very free, nothing super, just when I do watercolor, I just have to remind myself that you can let go of control and perfection, and you can just let it do its thing and it will still be beautiful. So we're intensifying that just a little. We'll add a little more to my palette. I am not diluting these with water very much when I'm using them. I'm using them at full strength. But if you want a more transparent like look from these, then what you can do is add more water to them as you paint with them. So it just kind of depends on how intense you want the color, how much water you would add. Okay, so I'm gonna grab a little more water and we're gonna get just some like layered color on here. Does that make sense? And we're just gonna go and just kind of pounce it around. Now, because we are on like a timeline, like you guys don't wanna sit here till Thursday, what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit this with a heat tool. So I'm gonna rinse off my brush. Just gonna lay it on a paper towel over there. Do not leave your brush in the water. One of the things I learned about watercoloring early on, don't leave your brush in the water. Also, Kinnery pointed out something that I did not point out, but on this, the dies for these stencil die combos also create some texture in these bows. You can see the little texture marks that those add, which really do help kind of bring this to life. Look at how, this is gonna look like a velvet background with this beautiful bow overlay. It's gonna be so pretty. Okay, I'm gonna, Sue says she uses the hair dryer to dry hers. You can totally do that. I'm just gonna spend a little time drying, and I know that this is super annoying, but when we're watercoloring live, I kind of have to speed the drying process along so that we're not, you know, number one, here all till next Thursday, but also so we can move on with the card, right? I saw a question. Let me go back up while I'm drying. It says, da-da-da. Oh, I lost it. Question, what size brush is that? Have no clue. A 3/4 inch oval wash. It doesn't matter. You can use whatever you want. Let's see. Kristen, which is Mom Snoozy, wants to know if a hairdryer will warp the paper. I mean, watercolor paper, if you can get it flat, kudos to you. But you're using a lot of water and a lot of pigment on a piece of cardstock. That's gonna, I mean, you're gonna end up with some warping. I'm gonna try to do something to mitigate that here in just a bit. But even taping it down, you probably want to do a better job of taping it down than I did. But even with taping it down, oh my gosh, I don't even know if I want to die cut this background. I love it like it is. It looks like velvet. Okay, so I'm going back down. Yes, if you leave the brushes in water, it breaks down the glues that hold the bristles in place, but it can also, the water can move up into the wooden handle and warp the handle as well. Yes, it is true that a hairdryer will have more force than a heat tool, so it could move some of the color around depending on how wet the color is when you go in with your dryer. Now you can see I'm totally warped. It's fine. But the brush created a pretty wash on the paper. Well, thank you. I love the bows too, Cat Scrapper. I mean, they would look great in pink for a baby girl card. They look great in red. I saw Kathleen did them in blue. So they look great in so many different colors. Yes, running it through your die cut machine will sometimes help to flatten the paper. If you want to run it through without any die, you can just run it through the die cut machine with the plates to kind of add some pressure to it to help kind of even it out. The other thing that you can do is if you're using it like a panel like this, is that you can put a panel of foam adhesive on the back, and that helps flatten it out as well. I am working on a pre-recorded video for a couple of easy watercolor background ideas that will be on the Pinkfresh Studio channel on Thursday. So be sure to check that out because I'll have some little tips and tricks like that throughout that video as well. Okay. Whew. We're pretty dry. Okay. The question really is, do I just leave it like this? I think I'm going to let you guys vote. Do I leave it like this? Or do I die cut it with the Evergreen Sparkle and give it lots of texture? This is what these are impressions that I've made with the Evergreen Sparkle. So We could do an impression with it as well. That could be fun. You know what? Let me start a poll, okay? Let's do a quick poll. Oh, I'm signed in on the wrong account on YouTube, so I can't do that. Just let me know in the comments. Do I use the Evergreen Sparkle or not? That you can just let me know in the comments and I will die cut it. Bows are super cute. Die cut, die cut, die cut. Okay, everybody wants me to die cut it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Evergreen Sparkle cover plate. I'm going to line it up in the center, just like this. I'm not doing anything special. I'm just going to die cut it, okay? Actually, should we die cut it? Should we use texture? Sparkle? I don't know. Impression? Okay, I'm going to hold it in place though, because I want to make sure that I kind of, let's see, I might want to move it up just a little because I'm getting a corner down here that doesn't have any color. The edges may not have color all the way to the edge, and I'm kind of okay with that. It's like that loose watercolor vibe. It is what it is. Okay, so let's do this. Sparkle, texture, texture. I would say, okay, Canary says let's do texture, so like an impression. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this and we are going to, for the Anna Griffin Impress, we're gonna remove the magnetic mat and instead we're gonna use the embossing rubber mat, okay, or silicone mat. And that magnetic mat, we're trading that out for the embossing mat and we're gonna run that through our die cut machine. Okay. So we're gonna do that. Definitely texture, please. Dry emboss. Okay, so just gonna do that. You can already see that there's a ton of texture. It looks like a sweater. And I'm just gonna peek. See how this tape loves to stick? I'm gonna peek. Oh, I want it to be more. So I'm gonna just kind of make sure it's kind of nestled in there. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this. I may regret this. I heard you say you were organizing your craft room. Is there a video you can share? No, I didn't do any videos of that. I'm gonna put the metal shim on top to give it a little more pressure. And so if you die cut and then emboss after, it's not gonna do a whole lot because it's going to cut out the areas that you're actually impressing. So, I mean, I've never tried it, but I think, I've been around long enough to know that it's gonna do you see that texture in there? Oh, that's really cool. Oh, I'm glad we did it with the texture. So the places where it's pressing down into the cardstock right now, if you die cut it, it's just gonna die cut those areas out. So you're gonna lose like the texture that you're creating. I never get the sandwich quite right for embossing. One place to start is if your die cut machine has instructions for making an impression or embossing with the die, that's where you kind of wanna look first and start from there and judge. Do I have enough cardstock? I mean, do I have enough pressure or was it too much pressure? And then you can kind of remove, shims or add shims as needed. Now I'm gonna try, this is gonna be difficult. So I'm trying to follow the line on which this kind of die cut and I'm trimming this down because it's larger than what I needed. So just going along the impressed edge of the die that I can see. It's hard for you to see on the screen, I'm certain of it, but there's like a little impressed edge of the die that I can see that it made. And I'm just trimming this around, okay? Just trimming it down. It probably would have been better, I'm not gonna lie. probably would have been better if I would have trimmed it down first and then done my impression. But, you know. Yes, the Pinkfresh site. Kristen is saying, Kristen is Mom Snoozy, by the way, that she just saw it in blue, the bows on the site, and it's beautiful. It is. Okay. Do we see this? How gorgeous. I love it. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm at about 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 before I start putting all this together. So I'm just going to pull out another trimmer and just hold this kind of, yeah, we're at like a little less than 4 1/4 and a little less than 5 1/2. So I'm going to do like a 1/16 off each side, just little shaves off each side, just to kind of bring it down just a tiny. You're testing things out so we know what to do. Exactly. I'm making all the mistakes so you don't have to make them, right? Okay. Okay. We may, I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to trim it down too much because my bows are going to fit on there just perfectly. Just like that. Okay. Now, this is not it. I mean, this is not where we're ending up. I went ahead and off screen, I die cut the bow die only out of some champagne glitter cardstock. This is from the metallic glitter cardstock set from Pinkfresh Studio. It die cuts really well. And I'm going to add just a little bit of that behind there. What I'm thinking I'll do is I'm going to actually trim this. Don't freak out. I'm going to cut this in half. There's a reason. There's a method to my madness. And I am going to stagger it outward from each side. Okay, so I have a thing of baby wipes on the ground that really are getting in the way of the wheels of my chair. So I'm going to add liquid glue to the back side of this and just really towards the outer edge of the back side because I'm going to offset it to the outer edge. So once I have that liquid glue in place, I'm going to flip this over and I'm just going to offset this so we get just a little peek. Now, I had this idea yesterday when I was sitting at work, and then I saw Kathleen's card where she did something similar, where she had the glitter poking out. So I thought I had a really original, beautiful idea, but she beat me to it. So I'm just being a copycat today, and that's okay. Kathleen will forgive me. But honestly, I had thought about it before I saw her card, and then I thought, oh, yeah, it does look amazing. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to just put a block, actually, before I do that. Let's flip this over and do the other side, okay? So we're going to flip it over again. We're going to add some liquid glue to the outer edge of the other side. Okay. And then we're going to add our other Ribbon Splendor glitter peak. This champagne is my favorite. And I believe, Kennery can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you can buy the champagne in a pack by itself too. So if you want all champagne glitter cardstock, you can totally do that. The metallic comes with silver, gold, champagne. It has a mix of the different kind of essential metallics that you may find yourself reaching for over and over again. And I'm just, now glitter cardstock is finicky. It doesn't like to stick to anything. So you have to be a little patient when you're putting this down, and then you have to give it a minute to dry. So I'm going to get it in place. And once I get it in place, we can add, oops, some blocks over the top to put some pressure on it as it dries. Okay. blocks, blocks, blocks. We're going to do the best I can because I can't remember where I put my really big block. Now, I also die cut 2 plain white ones, which are beautiful on their own, like because they have the texture that the die gives them. I'm just going to stack those up. This will be for dimension behind the 2 that I've already stacked up. So these are just going to be my, you know, my building layers. Let's put it like that. Okay, so we have liquid glue on the front of that one. We're going to line these up, stack them up, and just hold them down for just a second. Kateri, oh, maybe it's, oh, Kate. Kate Reitman. When it's all together like that, you should hear how people have said my name too, because it's all together like that. But Kate says she's late. That's okay. We're glad you're here. You can always go back and watch it from the beginning on the replay, which will be available right after we're done. And we're glad you're here. Okay, so now we have a double white layer that we can put behind this to give it dimension. We don't want to offset it though. We don't want the white poking out. So we'll get it all lined up. We'll add some liquid glue. Here, all over the front of this. So this is 2 plain white layers stacked up. You could do as many as you want. You could use foam adhesive instead if you want. Totally up to you. I didn't feel like I wanted to probably put all of the foam adhesive behind all of the small areas. Okay, so now I'm going to line this up and just make sure that none of the white is poking out anywhere. Get it all nestled into place. Press that down and let it kind of sit there for a minute. It's almost 11 p.m. for Kinnery in Dubai. Oh my goodness, Kinnery. I don't know how you do it. I go to bed at 8:30 at night. I'm an old lady, but I'm assuming you do it because you have to probably keep some hours for the US for your business so that you can deal with people. Oh, isn't this pretty? Okay. I also have a sentiment here. The sentiment I have embossed on green cardstock using it's called platinum embossing powder. It's like, it kind of is the champagne color. It's not silver, it's not gold, it's kind of right in the middle. And I just did this ahead of time, but this sentiment is from the Shelf Edit, Magic of the Season. So the little elf on the shelf, that's what I call it, the elf on the shelf set. This sentiment, it says, "May the quiet magic of the season bring you joy." So that's where that sentiment's from. I've decided I want more dimension. Do I need to mat the sentiment? I don't know. Do I need to? Probably don't need to. I might. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to put some foam on some of this, and we're gonna raise it up. I'm gonna raise the roof. This bow over here is very easy because it's a little thicker. Question, is it possible to cut the ribbons apart without ruining them? I'm sure it is. If I was gonna cut this, I would just trim like kind of where these colors meet here. This might be a little hard, but you could trim along where these colors meet there. I think you totally could cut the ribbons apart. You would just need to be careful. I haven't tried it, but I think you could do it. I think it can be done. I mean, let's be real. If you're patient enough, anything can be done, right? I love the Shelf Edit sets. I hope there are more to come. Well, the right person is here to hear your requests today. Our friend Kinnery. And she loves to listen to her customers. So, all right. Mixing and matching newer and older items. Yeah, I thought that would be fun. And kind of using the ribbons. There's been a lot featuring it for like a card that you could use at any time of the year. But I'm a sucker for holiday. And I really wanted to kind of bring this set into the holidays. So that's what I did today. And I think you do this in pinks and it is like probably the most perfect baby girl card you have ever seen. So, oh, I just tried to cut my finger off there. Let's do this. Almost there with the foam. This is probably the most annoying part to watch me do. Carissa said I heard that loud and clear about the shelf edit sets. Let's move this into my trash pile. Now, isn't this beautiful? We have all of that different layering of the watercolor. It was super simple. I am not a professional. You can totally do this yourself. And if you want to dip your toes into the watercolor world, a simple background like this is the way to go. And I think it just gives it, in those dark, deep, rich colors, just a really beautiful velvety feel. And I love that we added that evergreen sparkle texture to it. It's kind of harder to see on camera, but look at that. It's going to be the perfect little backdrop for our ribbons here. Now let me make sure I got all the backer off. And this one needs to be removed. Okay, then I'm going to take this, I'm going to line it up right in the center of this panel. Let me put the panel kind of centered on my grid mat. That helps me see right there. Okay, now I have kind of something to help me center that up. Oh, not quite. Hold on. Just give me a minute. Give me a moment. Okay, boom. We have a white spot from the foam adhesive, or not from the foam adhesive, it's where there's no watercolor, but I'm okay with that. Okay, so now we have our bows raised up on the front of this card. It looks so good. I mean, I think if I matted the sentiment, it would just be with a piece of glitter cardstock. So here's my metallic cardstock set that we were talking about earlier. Let's just do this. And I'm thinking, what one do I want? I want this guy. All right, let's do this. Just gonna trim this down, see where we're at. About 2.5 inches wide, maybe 2 3/8-ish. Okay, thinking that. I love that. I don't know, I kind of like the green on green, but let's see what it does when we do a strip. So let's go to no, that's what I wanted to do. 2.5 by, let's make sure we're good there. Yep. Okay, let's see how wide we are here. We're about 1/2. So let's go by, wait, I keep confusing myself with the measurement. So I need that, and then we need 1/2 inch of this about. So let's cut it to 3. and then go there. Let's see if this is what I want. No, I want it wider. Okay, so that was a 1/2 inch. So let's go there-ish. Okay, that kind of gives me a little bit of matting around it. I don't know. I'm not sold on this yet, but let me get it to the right size and maybe I will be. It needs to be just a little bit finer around that edge. I'm gonna end up slicing myself on this blade if I'm not careful. Okay. So this is it matted. I mean, that's nice. We could do that. All right, let's do some liquid glue. You like it. Good. I'm glad you like it. Oh, look, there's adhesive on the back of this one. I'm going to just use that. Apparently there was adhesive on the back of this cardstock when I embossed it. Okay, so just center this up in the center of my glitter mat here. Scooch it into place. There. I am going to add a few little jewels, which I did not have planned. So hopefully you guys have a couple more minutes to spend with me here, because I think that the red glitter drops, ruby, will be just the perfect little accent on here. I probably put this too far to the edge. Let me move my foam to where it's just in the center so that when it overlaps the bows, we're not having problems. I just bought my Glimmer Hot Foil machine. I can't wait to buy more Pinkfresh press plates. I love my Glimmer Hot Foil machine. I think it's so much fun. Don't be the one that leaves it in the box for forever and never tries it out. Make sure that you use it. Okay, let's do this. Just gonna put it right here towards the bottom of that opening. Simple, simple, but sparkly. And let me go grab my ruby glitter drops. Now, this needs to go on a card base, but you can just throw it on a white card base if you wanted to do foam on the back, but it like flattened out pretty good with all that texture that we added, so I don't feel like I need to add foam on the back. But let me grab my ruby glitter drops. So I think these would be really pretty on here. You could also do the champagne glitter drops. Simple but beautiful. This would be something easy to make several of and have some fun playing with your watercolor. You know what? My drawer is stuck. Oh, there we go. I was like, we may not be able to get it open. Sometimes things shift around in there and then I can't, like the scissors poke up and stuff. Okay, so these are ruby glitter drop. Yeah, the Bow product suite is so much fun. Great for year-round card making. You don't have to use it for the holidays, but I wanted to use it for the holidays because I'm loving making some holiday cards right now. I don't get to do it all year, but it is one of my favorite things to do. This guy does not want to flip. Come on. Flip. I think I'm just going to sprinkle a few of these around. Bling it up. I love it. You guys are so much fun. I think we're just going to kind of bring them down through the design of the bows. Maybe here. thinking maybe one more. I just got really close to the microphone. Let's trade this guy with this guy. Oh, sometimes the hardest part of the glitter drops is getting them to flip over the right way. I feel like I want one more again. Hold on. Just balancing some things out here. Okay. I think that's pretty. Like some berries in the background almost. Oh, Mindy. Oh, okay. I just missed it. Mindy, Lawrence, 6556, and Allison, Allison Ashheim, 9246. You're the winners today. Very wonderful. You've each won a $50 digital gift card code to Pinkfresh Studio. What you're going to do to claim your prize is you're going to email customerservice@pinkfreshstudio.com. It'll take maybe a couple business days for them to get back to you. And they will get you your digital gift card code sent out. Remember, if you're watching on the replay, we do have a couple digital gift card codes for you as well. So don't forget to leave a comment there. Let me know which of the 3 watercolor sets is your favorite. There's the jewels, the pastels, and I can't remember what the third one is off the top of my head. But you can go over and check them out at pinkfreshstudio.com, and you can let me know which of those 3 is your favorite. So we have some ruby glitter drops on there as well with that beautiful sparkle coming out. I'm going to put this on just a white card base to make it an actual card, because right now it's just an A2 size card front, but you all know how to do that. I would just put some really good adhesive behind this watercolor cardstock to keep it stuck down to that card front. So there we have it. Yes, Kinnery is reminding all of you, do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to the Pinkfresh Studio YouTube channel, because you don't want to miss all the fun things that are coming up. I am so glad all of you were here. Congrats to the winners, says Taryn. Yes, and I am so glad all of you are loving this holiday version featuring Ribbon Splendor, Evergreen Sparkle, and of course the new Pinkfresh Studio watercolors, which are available now for 20% off over at the Pinkfresh Studio site. They're only available on pinkfreshstudio.com. Once they're gone, they're gone. So if you want to grab these fabulous watercolors, make sure you do that. And we have links in the YouTube description for all of this. Thank you all for being here. I'm so glad you're here. I will see you again here soon on the Pinkfresh Studio YouTube channel or over at my channel at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.